folks, thanks for taking the time to watch this short video tutorial on accessing the platform and using the platform as an admin. Hopefully you've got one of the links that's been sent out that's been set up for the rooms at QMU. Log in using one of those links and obviously that will give you admin status. The platform, for simplicity, the platform is basically a replication of a conference center. So as you can see, the left hand side icons tells you the areas of the platform. The entrance, same icons, correspond to the same links down the side. So you can either jump into the entrance to access various elements or just go directly to them from the left hand side menu. I'll come back to conference in a second or two. The attendee icon is where you will see all of the online delegates and other speakers. Where there's a green dot against somebody's name, that tells you if that person is online at this moment in time. You can also send and receive messages. You'll see a little chat box up here. You can see I've already had a couple of messages from a couple of people. Then of course you can very easily find somebody down here, click on their little message icon. I've clicked on myself, that's probably a bad example. If I was to want to send a message to Heather, click on the message icon for Heather, come down to here and send her whatever message I need to send her. You'll start seeing, as people reply back to you, if you do start sending messages, you'll start seeing little red dots appear on the attendee tab. That indicates you've got a message in the chat column, so you can jump back over to it. Lounge, fairly self-explanatory. There's a whole bunch of tables in the lounge. These are all branded. Ignore the branding. Each table has got 8 seats. You quite literally grab a seat and your profile picture will be displayed in here. If you do plan on using these tables, you can be joined by anybody else that's online on the event, be that delegates or other speakers. Sponsors, the sponsors of the event have got their own individual booths. You can enter them, you can message them, you can go and check out their content if that's what you want to do. And likewise with the poster display, I think there's 80 posters in total. These are the poster creators, they are the poster titles. You can drop into the individual booths, you can download the poster handouts, and again you can connect with the poster creators if you want to. I want to focus a little bit on the conference section because that's possibly the area you're going to be spending the most time in. Of course, when you click on the conference tab, or if you go to entrance and click on the conference tab, either way you end up in the same part of the platform, which is the conference area. Each of the session boxes that you see on the screen here represents a session, or if it's easier, a room at the conference center. So each session is a room at the conference center, and of course each session has a title, and in some cases it has a presenter. Where you see a presenter tied to a session, that means there's some form of online presence. Where there isn't a presenter, that therefore it's going to be an in-person presenter from QMU. Against every single session you should see the word join, and right next to it backstage. You can see that for every session. Speakers don't have that luxury. Speakers are assigned to each session individually. So in this instance, as you can see here, June has been assigned to this session. So for her, she sees join backstage because she's been assigned to that session. But on this one, it'll just say join because she's going to go into that as a audience member. So she's only got backstage privileges on the session that she's been applied to, or added to. Same goes for everybody else. If they're added to more than one session, then fair enough, they'll have backstage privileges for all the sessions they're added to. You as admin have got access all areas, so you can go anywhere that you like. So for the sake of ease, I'm going to go through a very, very quick demo. Let's start with this session here. When you click join, it'll automatically put you backstage. Hopefully my camera will come live. There we go. So the platform works it's not an unusual way. It works in a way similar to a theatre, in that there's a backstage area and there's an on-stage area. Each session has got backstage. As you join it, you'll automatically start out backstage. You'll know that because of this little sign at the bottom left corner here. It tells you where you are located. And the purpose of backstage for the presenters that are online is they can come here, test their cameras, test their microphones. They can get themselves in the zone and already prepared for when they do have to go live. But ultimately, when it's time for them to start their presentation, you may need to guide them on this. You may need to just tell them go live. They have to click on the green go live button. Now, don't think that you can click go live and it'll send everybody live. Everyone controls their own destiny on this platform, so they will need to click go live to do exactly that. So when they click go live, that's exactly what will happen. They'll go from being backstage to being on stage. For you as an admin person, there's a step in between. When you click go live, you also have to join the panel. And of course, in clicking join panel, you'll see that 5-second countdown. That just builds the expectation. You'll see my camera come live. There we go. It tells you straight away, bottom left corner, that you're live. And of course, there's the little live button showing. It's at this point you can be seen and heard by the audience, online audience, or people in whatever location at the RRQMU. And of course, as you're controlling the stream from the room that you are admin in, then you will need to go live in every single session. Now, don't worry, it's not necessarily going to be the camera on the PC pointing at you. It should be the feed for the presenter in the room. So the camera should be the feed, or what you should see on the screen here, where you're seeing me right now. You should see whatever the camera's pointing at, whether that's 1 presenter, 2 presenters, 20 presenters in the room. But ultimately, you will need to go live. If at any point, for example, it's an online presenter. I don't know whether you plan on coming live and doing an introduction, but you're probably not going to do that. Then you may get away with not being live with them. So if you find yourself on stage with them and they started their presentation, you do have the option of clicking leave panel. That puts you back in the audience. As you can see, the join panel button is illuminated there. You can easily click it again and go back live on stage. So you can very, very easily do all of that if that's what you need to do. So you can either leave panel or sit in the audience, join panel, be live on stage. You can of course go backstage, but keep in mind, if you click the go backstage button and you go backstage, then you are not visible to your online audience. And of course, if you're controlling the camera stream from your room and you go backstage, then anybody online is not seeing what's going on in your room. So whether you've got presenters in the room with you streaming, then you need to be live. If it's an online presenter, then obviously you will control their destiny and what's going to happen with them. Some of the icons across the bottom of the screen, I'll point them out to you. You may use some of them, you may not use all of them. The live button, fairly self-explanatory, tells you that the session is live. Record button, every session records automatically. You don't need to touch it, just let that run as it's expected to run. The recordings are shared, well, they're not shared until we share them, so you don't need to worry about what's going to happen with the recordings. This little button here will be useful. It's a human eye symbol. It tells you the number of people live in the session at any moment, and of course, as I'm recording this video, there's nobody here, which I'd expect it to be that. But of course, on event day or on event session, I'm sure that number will be considerably different. So you can keep an eye on how many people are watching online, and if you do need to see who they are, you'll notice a whole bunch of tabs on the right hand side. So in terms of the platform and the way it works, I've already taken you through the areas of the platform that you can go to. The tabs on the right are the actions that you can take when you're in those areas. So whilst you see the partners tab scrolling up and down the screen, you can click on it and it'll obviously make your screen bigger. If you click it again, it goes back to partners tab. The discuss is just a chat box. I'll come back to that in a second. Q&A is a place for questions. The panelist tab, very useful if you've got a number of online participants, and we'll come back to that in a moment or two. Likewise, polls, handouts, and there's your audience tab. Fairly self-explanatory. If this says 10 people, if you click on the audience tab, the 10 people sitting watching should be listed. Their profile should be listed here. The tabs across the bottom, the buttons across the bottom, mute microphone, turn camera off. This little reaction button, there's a variety of emojis. Delegates also have this, so they can, as you see these little icons flashing up the screen, don't panic. That's perfectly normal. That's just a way for delegates to interact. Virtual background, doubt you'll ever use that, but it's there as an option. Leave panel I've already touched on. Let's come back to discuss. So the discuss tab is a chat column. Anybody can post comments in here. They can post anything that you like. As you can see, I've just posted a load of mumbo jumbo there. Any delegate can post a comment. You as admin, if something is said that's inappropriate, can delete it. So you can get rid of it very, very quickly. You as admin can use the private tab and can post messages. Keep in mind, however, it's possible that your screen is being shown your screen on the monitor that you're sitting in front of at QMU. This is also being shown on the screen with the delegates that's in the room with you. So if you do post comments here, be very, very careful what you say. Potentially some people sitting in the room with you might be able to see that. So the public section is only available to the online delegates, and as I've already touched on, they can post comments, observations, feedback, questions, etc., etc. Q&A is a direct button for direct questions. So as an admin, when you see somebody post a question in there, now of course at some point the presenters in the sessions, be it online or be it people in the room with you, if they do end up with questions from online delegates, you're probably going to have to communicate these questions either to the presenter standing in the room with you or to the room chair. Whatever's going to be easiest, you'll need to let somebody know that there's been questions dropped in. Now, keep an eye out. It's possible questions will come into Q&A, but they may also come into the Discuss tab. The only reason we encourage questions in Q&A, if the Discuss tab, it's a shifting timeline Discuss tab, if it's busy with lots of chit chat, then it's possible somebody posting a question here would be lost if there's other comments drop in. So the Q&A tab is a direct source for questions, and of course the advantage of Q&A, somebody posts a question, if it resonates with somebody else in the audience, you can very easily give it a good old like. You can comment directly, anybody can comment directly against it, and of course you as the admin can pick it and it will broadcast it out on the platform and it'll appear on screen. It doesn't appear on my little monitor because I'm the one that selected the question, but it would appear for every other online delegate. So that's something that you can also keep on top of. Of course, the one I haven't gone through yet is the way that delegates can share their screen. So of course, if it's a live presenter from QMU who's got a PowerPoint presentation, you're going to click on the share screen button. There's a couple of options here. Sharing your screen directly allows you to do a live share. Now all of the content for all of the live in-person presenters is being added to memory stick. So each of the rooms in operation at QMU will have its own memory stick with all of the content on that memory stick for the 4-day duration. So it'll be a simple case of we'll try and get a room agenda, looking at the content, looking at what the session is called and who the presenter is, matching that PowerPoint, PDF, video, whatever it may be, on the memory stick, and of course getting it teed up, ready to go so that you can share it. Sharing process is clicking on either the entire screen, window or Chrome tab. Some presenters have told us that they want to run Mentimeter sessions or do online surveys, so that's where the Chrome tab would come in. We are planning, myself and Chris, my colleague, are coming to Edinburgh on Monday, so we are planning on running a couple of training sessions, and I think this will be the area we'll probably need to focus on the most. Sharing screen, the process, any questions that you guys may have on this. So I'll not dwell on it too much now. Feel free to compile a list of questions. We can go through it when we're in on site early part of next week. You can also upload documents, PDFs and PowerPoints, and upload videos. My only worry there is some of the changeovers are instant, timings are very, very short. You may not get a chance to do that. So I would imagine your sharing of content is going to come via this option. Of course, when it's time, when the session's ended and it's time, you as room host can simply go backstage. And of course, going backstage kills the feed for the online audience. But keep in mind, you've got the camera stream. So of course, you might be backstage. The camera stream is backstage. But whatever's being broadcast on that screen in the room with you will still have people in the room. So be very, very careful. Of course, you know what you can, if easier, it might be easier just to get in the habit of turning your camera off and muting yourself so you don't pick up any of the background. I haven't muted myself there because it'll kill the audio feed of what I'm discussing now. So it might be useful to get into the habit when a presentation is over, killing the camera feed, turning the audio off as you go from session to session. So as room admin, this session has then just finished. Obviously, you know, it's a case of simply exiting the room, exiting the session, going back to the conference list. I was just in that one. Next session out the blocks is that one. depending on the room that you're in, and you've got a list in front of you, you probably will need to search for the session in question. I don't think I covered that at the start, actually, finding sessions. There's currently 140 odd of them added to the platform, 145 to be exact. That figure will be closer to 200 by the time we've added them all. So trying to find your way, scrolling through them would probably be a big minefield. You can search by day. So if you wanted just to highlight the Friday or the Thursday, sorry, and the sessions are running on that day, then it's a shorter list to scroll through. Still, nevertheless, quite a long list. The easiest way would probably be to search whatever particular session. If you've got the session title or the session presenter, session title is going to be the easiest way. Start searching using that method. And of course, once you've found the next session, let's assume it's this one here, Music is Life. Jumping into it, if you notice the difference there, I didn't actually join, I just clicked the room itself. That puts me in the room. Joining to go backstage for my camera feed to come on, I'll need to click the join button. Either way, whichever you prefer, either way you're going to end up backstage. Now, of course, the difference with this session, there's clearly, as you may have noticed, there's some online presenters in this one. The panelist tab tells you who they are going to be. So if you click on the panelist tab over here on the right, it'll list the people that's been added to the session as an online presenter, online only. If it's a presenter in the room with you, they will not have been added to the platform. The only people on the platform are the people expected to turn up virtually. Hope that makes sense. So in this particular session, these 4 guys should at some point join you and come live. They should end up backstage with you as you are right now, with a bit of luck. Now, they've been sent videos and instructions and details on what to do. Hopefully they've followed that. I can't control that, but hopefully they followed it, and hopefully they do end up with you. The reality is, if only 2 of the 4 end up, you're probably going to have to run the session regardless, because timings are so tight. You're going to have to crack on and ultimately go live. Remember what I said, these people all control their own destiny. You can't click go live for all of them. They need to click go live themselves. You will probably need to tell them, can you make yourself go live? By clicking on the little green go live button. You click on go live, you join the panel. They don't have the join panel button, don't forget, you as an admin have that. You join the panel, your camera feed opens. It's possible that this particular session, as well as having 4 presenters online, has also got 4 presenters in the room with you. So the camera feed is you picking up the 4 presenters in the room. The 4 people are online. You'll end up with 5 video boxes on the screen. The 4 people online and you with a camera feed in the room, or whatever the numbers work out to be. And of course, the online audience see 5 video boxes, as I've just described. Of course, your online audience number is down here. There's your icons again. There's your same options as I've already gone through in the previous room session that we were in. The only thing I haven't covered, the only 2 things I haven't covered are polls and handouts. It's possible some of the speakers may want handouts adding to their session. Very easy to do. Click on handouts. You'll see the icon in the bottom right corner that says manage handouts. Click on that, drag and drop them here. Click and drop them. If a handout has been added to your USB memory stick that's relevant to your room, then that's where it will be. Go and find the memory stick in the computer that the stick is plugged into, and literally click on it, and it'll upload, and there'll be a publish unpublish button. It's a slider button. Move it to publish, and then the handout will be automatically displayed in this column. You'll actually need to drop out of it and go back to it to refresh it, and the document will be displayed. Polls is exactly the same. This couldn't be simpler as well. It's very, very straightforward. Click on the polls tab, click on manage polls in the bottom right, and then create if a particular presenter wants a poll creating. Where possible, try and avoid that, because that could just end up being a bit of a minefield. That's it, I think. I know this video I've recorded is 18 minutes, 19 minutes long now, so I'm going to cut it short of that and call it a day. As I already touched on, we're going to run some training sessions up at QMU when we get to site early part of next week. I do think it would make sense if you can come and join us in one, if not both of them. And of course, you will have questions, it's inevitable. Feel free to ask as many questions as you like. But I look forward to meeting you all next week, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.